for coming to this session. I have some great colleagues here who are going to lead the session. So my name's Mike Beam. I'm CIB's program director. I have Ellen Lester and Chika Nakup, who are going to lead this particular session around PhD students, early career academics and researchers, and overcoming challenges, and having an open discussion. And so we'd like to introduce everybody, if that's okay. Everybody in the room, if we could maybe just, I'll pass the microphone around and just kind of say, just your name, where you're from, what university or research institute, and, kind of where you are in your career path, I think would be good, right? Yeah? Can we start with talk?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kenneth from Massey University, New Zealand. Actually, I'm not ECR. I'm an associate professor in School of Built Environment there. I'm very happy to share my experience of being from ECR to associate professor. I think that would be a great experience for everyone. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Vivian Tam from Western Sydney University. I start my academic journey in 2005 after I finished my PhD, and I'm currently a professor. And I'm also the associate dean taking care of research and also HDRs. I would really love to hear what HDRs thinking or early career thinking and help to develop a path as well. And I'm also an editor-in-chief for an international journal of construction management, which is a CIB recommended journals. And I'm happy to assist in any way that can help you guys as well.
Hi, I'm Keith Hampson, and 25 years ago, I was an early career researcher. And, there's been some dry gullies, we would say, and challenging roadblocks. But it's been a really good journey, and part of it was the CIB. And I'm happy to share some ideas about national collaboration and international collaboration to make that journey from associate lecturer to wherever you want to go. I mean, not that professor is the end of the road, because you really want to think about, how to run companies and look after organisations beyond, alternate modes of progression in a career, which has been wonderful to me. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Thilini Veerasurya. I'm a third-year PhD candidate at Western Sydney University, so I thought I'd drop into this session to get a head start on what to do and what not to do as an ECR. So looking forward to the discussion.
Good afternoon, my name is Brenda. I'm from RMIT, first year, very fresh PhD student, and I just thought I'd catch the bird early and find out what's out there for me in the many years to come.
Hi, and hello everyone. I'm from UCL. I'm Zigan Fan. I'm currently the research fellow of the UCL Institute for Environment Design and Energy. And so I'm here to try to catch up some knowledge and experience over how to, for example, find the next position and the progress I could make in the coming years. So.
Hello everyone. My name is Yuting Chen. I joined LSBU, London South Bank University, as a lecturer in construction project management after I graduated as a PhD. So I'm definitely an early career researcher. It would be very helpful for me to listen to any recommendations here today. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Debbie Gray. I'm with the CIB Secretariat. I came here from Ottawa, Canada, and your weather is wonderful. I am not an ECR, but I'm here to help everyone. So if you need anything, I'm your girl.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tao, but you can call me Alice. It's my pleasure to be volunteer today. So I have a green hat on. So I'm a third-year PhD student at Massey University, and yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing some insightful and useful information from all of you as a professional. And as for me, I'm looking to to the career in the future. So probably at the moment I'm planning to ask Silene say like what to do and what not to do. So yeah, really looking forward to have a discussion with you all. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. That's everyone in the room. So, and our technician Nick is helping us. So, I see that we have folks online. Wei Fang, welcome, Wei Fang. If you would maybe like to introduce yourself to our group, we'd love to hear from you, who you are. And maybe Wei Fang is getting a drink or something, but I see Thomas Bednar. Welcome, Thomas. Would you introduce yourself to us?
Yes, hello. My name is Thomas. I'm from TU Wien. I'm a professor for building physics, and I'm the coordinator for CIB W40, which has a long tradition and currently is struggling to get the new ones into our subject. So I'm very interested if there are some already some experiences how to contact all the starting PhD students which want to develop new methods in moisture safety. So I'm happy to join this discussion from Vienna. Currently it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and we had a very nice night for the conference.
Thank you, Thomas, and welcome. We really appreciate it. And I think Wei Fang was, maybe that microphone was going on. Wei Fang, would you like to introduce yourself? Maybe I saw that incorrectly. Budini, I know who Budini is. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Michael. It's good to see you all, even virtually. It's so good to be here.
Can you tell us a little bit where you're from and where you're at in your career?
Yes, sure. So I'm originally a doctoral research candidate at the Center for Smart Modern Construction, Western Sydney University. I have just submitted my thesis, and before submission even, I got a new job at University of Newcastle, Australia. So I'm joining you from Newcastle today. Sorry, I could not come to Melbourne to visit you all, but here I am to learn what is to be done as an ECR, because now I'm not in the safe nest of my supervisor anymore. So let's see what I can get from here.
Thank you, Budini. And I see Wei Fang. Hello, how are you, Wei Fang? Could you,
Hello, I can hear you. Real nice to see you all. And I am a PhD student in University of Auckland. And my research topic is about using immersive virtual reality to improve construction safety through design. And I chose this room just because of Michael.
Well, it's so nice to meet you. You're going to hear some great advice from Chico and Ellen. And there's one last person whose name is just a little bit cut off. Sandyara. Sandyara? I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, and I'm sorry, but Sandyara? Would you like to introduce yourself to our little group here? Sandyara. And maybe I will pass it over to, well, we have some more folks coming in. I see Jessica Borg coming in. We're doing some introductions. Hold on, don't go anywhere. Jessica Borg is our one of our doctoral research award winners. Just doing some introductions.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, we're running a little bit late. I'm Jessica Borg. I'm an early career development fellow in the School of Management at RMIT.
Hi, I'm Leila Kempton. I'm an early career researcher at the Sustainable Buildings Research Centre at the University of Wollongong.
All right, so Chico and Ellen, this is kind of who we are, and that's maybe sets the context for you and our discussion this afternoon.
Great. Fantastic. Welcome to you all. It's so great to meet you. Thank you very much for making this session. We're really sorry that we are online. We would have loved to be there. And yeah, Yeah, we're really sorry about that, but hopefully we can have a really good session. So I'll introduce myself, and then maybe Ellen, if you wanted to take over after that. So my name is Chico, and I'm a research fellow at Oxford Brookes. I'm also a lecturer at Oxford Brookes. Completed my PhD in 2018, and yeah, Ellen and I sort of started talking a few years ago about just sort of sharing insight into this PhD journey. And we really wanted to create a session that was more about listening and conversation, to really start to maybe gain some insights into how we can understand some of the challenges and also really great triumphs that people experience as ECRs. So we have a few things planned for this session in terms of topics, but yeah, it's very informal. And we're hoping that everybody's kind of open to sharing their experience and also maybe some of the knowledge they have in working with ECRs and also being an ECR, because I think we have a great mix of people, which is fantastic. Yeah, over to you, Ellen.
Okay. I'm Ellen Lester. It's not Hugh Lester. That's part of the challenge of this week. I'm on my husband's computer, but I am Ellen Lester. I'm an assistant dean of construction and architectural technology at Pennsylvania College of Technology in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. I've been here for about a year. Before that, I was at the Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey, and then before that at the New School of Architecture in San Diego. And in some ways, I was an early career researcher a little bit later in life, more of a non-traditional route. I went into industry and was in industry for quite a few years before I ended up going into higher ed. So when I was really getting started in higher ed, I've been in higher ed about 12 years now. I already was married. I already had children, bills to pay, you know, all those sorts of things that come along sometimes at opportune times, but can make things more challenging. So when Chico and I met, and I think Mike introduced us actually, primarily I think because I had recently won, I won in 2020, the NAWIC Association and Teacher of the Year or Professor of the Year award, which is the National Association of Women in Construction. And so I'm also a co-chair for the CIB 102 Knowledge Management Committee. So if you happen to be on that committee or interested in that committee, we'll be having our meeting immediately following this one, actually. So early career researchers are a major topic for me, a real passion for me, wanting to support people who are coming up and really bring a lot of new faculty into this world, because I don't know about other individuals in this room, but I'm having a heck of a time hiring people that have the background that you all have. So it's always a bit of a challenge, and we're glad to see you here.
Great, thank you very much, Ellen. So yes, so thank you again. So what we said is really we'll just have a conversation. Mike, if you're okay with running around with the mic and also navigating the people online, that would be fantastic. The first area of discussion that we thought we'd start off with is really about spaces of transition and work-life balance. It's one of the key things that really came out in our discussions. Mike, Ellen, and I had numerous discussions with various people within the CIB, and a large part of that was really about navigating these personal and professional transitions. So the transition into PhD life, out of PhD, or even within the sort of PhD journey, and some of the challenges that occur in trying to navigate that transition, but also negotiating this kind of work-life balance. So in many ways, we talk about kind of our career development, but we know it's not as simple as the CV that we put together. You know, there's lots of juggling around and lots of negotiations, and in some cases, compromises, sacrifices that we tend to to make in order to get to the next step, transition into the next space. So I think maybe it was what we were hoping is maybe if you can think a little bit about a key transition that has occurred, even for those that have just entered into your PhD journey, for those that have just exited out of your PhD journey into kind of the postdoc arena. Or as many of you have kind of advanced and progressed into established professors and academia, but also, as Keith said, in multiple other areas of the sector in business and sort of setting things up for yourself. So yeah, would love to really hear about any particular challenges to those personal professional transitions. We're not just interested in kind of the professional element, but also in the personal challenges that we all experience. I know for myself, a large part of my difficulties in transition and kind of this work-life balance that exists in the postdoc world was trying to manage family life, was trying to manage kind of the life of kind of migrating to the UK and the uncertainty of research fellow contracts and postdoctoral work that comes with trying to sort of develop your career as an academic and as a consultant for me. So if there is anything that anybody would like to share, anything that really pops up, please do just wave your hand and I would love to hear from you. We don't want to talk too much. We really just want to listen.
Anyone have any comments about transitions in your career?
Can I just say something? So I'm conscious that what you see is an unflattering view of the back of my head, and so I apologise for that. But I'm understanding also that the camera is locked behind while the screen is in front. What I was wanting to say, simply just to set a tone, is look. This might sound like heresy, but an academic career isn't the be-all and the end-all of life, and so there are other careers that PhDs can aspire to and should aspire to. Wouldn't it be nice to have PhDs from construction management on boards of companies? Wouldn't it be nice if you were running architectural firms and design firms and construction firms and helping grow the economy and the community in other ways other than writing papers I'm just using that as a extreme example. So really what I wanted to highlight is, gee, there's a lot of other things in life other than being a professor. And I say that from a perspective of being a professor. So but there are many things that I did before that. And I have every sense of satisfaction of having done many other things beforehand. So the message I'm saying, I'm providing is look, take it or leave it. But gee, there's a life beyond having a single path direction in your career projection. So I don't want to be shot down, but in a world, there's plenty of other interesting people and interesting jobs and interesting contributions that you can make to this world.
I definitely agree with that. And I think that I personally know 3 or 4 people that have obtained their PhDs and then gone into industry, and they do very, very well. The research aspect of what we engage in has come in very, very handy as far as competitive analysis and competitive research in other areas. So I agree with you completely.
Sorry, having said that, if the discussion today is about a pathway to be a professor, if that's where you want to go, we could do that. But I think early career researchers, for example, could make a really wonderful contribution in academia and then go into industry, or go to industry after completing a PhD, get 5 years, 10 years of experience, and then come back to academia and make an even better contribution to the research environment than what you may have made had you never discovered what it was really like to pour concrete or to fail in delivering on a contract and really mess up a work team in a real sense rather than writing about it. So I just want to say, gee, there's some multiple ways to a happy career success.
I think Thomas has his hand up online. Yeah.
Yes, thank you for these comments, Ron, because I see that more students, more PhD students are actually in practice at the end, and a very limited amount is only becoming a professor. So I think our challenge here, especially for example in Germany, is to motivate the young ones to go into academia and then to go back to practice, because sometimes they feel they are now over-educated. But on the other hand, the environment has to be developed. We need to put our research into practice. So I'm scared if there are not very much PhDs in the field at the end. You know?
Any other some challenges that are out there for folks? I know, you know, Chico, you talked about having family and things of that nature. I know I went back for a PhD later on in life myself and didn't, you know, earn that PhD at age 35. And my 3-week-old son attended my PhD defense. So, you know, there's a lot going on and things of that nature, and starting a new job and being that career. And so those are interesting times. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think something that Keith mentioned also in terms of these sort of alternate modes of progression, I think is really interesting, but it's, and sort of ties in with what we're saying about transitioning into these, you know, really different environments, and how we can prepare ourselves, set ourselves up for that, you know, and actually ensure that, you know, academia isn't just the only space for us to progress in, but also supports us in that transition. So would love to hear about anybody that's made that transition into industry, or made the transition back into industry, or really, you know, saddling the two. Would love to hear about that as well. Okay.
Position in a PhD because I was an academic. I didn't publish papers. So supervisor didn't really want to work with me. But I wanted to develop a solution for industrial problems. That's why I decided to then come in and do the PhD. So it's been difficult being accepted in the academic field. And I decided to come to the conference so that I could mix and mingle and try and, you know, fit in. Most of the times you don't know what to say because everyone else sounds so academic. It's my first year in PhD. So with family, I've got a 10-month-old baby. So I pretty much am happy that you're having this discussion, and I really want to learn how those who've been doing it have navigated the many challenges. I think it's a bit packed for me, but I really want to do this, hopefully to go back into industry and advise, and also, you know, play a role in academia, because I appreciate the problems in industry and how sometimes it's difficult for them to relate to what the researcher is trying to say. So I want to be that bridge. So I want to know how I can fit in to the academic world in the meantime, if you can just assist maybe to explain that. Thank you. I'm from Zimbabwe, by the way. Yeah, I'm here at RMIT Construction Management. Yeah, thank you.
I think sorry, I didn't catch your name. Brenda. I think Brenda brought a very good point in there, coming from industry. One of the things that, I mean, most universities offer scholarships for PhD students, and they are highly competitive. And one of the criteria, now even my university have this criteria where huge weightage is given for publication. So if you have publications, and many of them, and in Q1 journals, and so on and so forth, you get lots of points. In addition to your first degree, of course, the baseline qualification should be the first degree that is there. But then the papers and the publications and your experience in the research environment, there's lots of points given. So people like Brenda can't come in through that scholarship scheme. They are out directly. I mean, it doesn't mean that they are not talented. Of course, she had proven that. They are. And what I did when I did get an opportunity is that in our Center for Smart Modern Construction, we had some industry scholarships. And I had the opportunity to say what the criteria are for those scholarships. And it was 3-4 years back. So we put criteria, and in that, we didn't entirely make it publication biased. We did give the opportunity for people with industry experience. And some of the recruits came from industry. And I'm glad to say that one person I can see on the screen is there. So I encourage Buddhini to talk about your experience as coming from industry. Of course, she had a first class, but the base qualification is there. But she didn't have any publications because she was in the industry. But we interviewed, interrogated, and then judged that, okay, she's a good person, has the capability to do the PhD. So, and I'm glad that she's doing extremely well in the sense now she's submitted now an academic in Newcastle University, and I'll leave it for you to talk about.
Thank you, Professor Srinath. Thank you so much. And apparently, yes, when I joined the center in 2018, I did not have any publications. My first conference paper was published after 3 months of joining the center, after 3 months of my PhD starter. So the thing I had in mind during undergraduate days itself, like there's no connection between industry and academia. My undergraduate thesis was about R&D in construction, and I found that in the Sri Lankan context. So when I joined academia as a PhD student, I always wanted to go back to the industry after PhD completion. But to date, I did not get any comeback from any of the jobs I applied. That is a different scenario. And when I was doing the PhD at the Center for Smart Modern Construction with the academics over there and Professor Srinath Pereira as well, I saw how research can be helpful to the industry. Because always we are in two different silos. Academics are managing their own business, the teaching, research, and academics are around 10 years ahead of the industry. That's what we thought always. But when it comes to data collection and some of the case studies I did in my research, I felt that, okay, industry is ahead as well, but they haven't got that scientific process that we follow for research solution finding part. So at the center, I realized that there can be a merge. Industry-based research can be done. Almost all the projects that we see at the center at Western Sydney University are based on industry collaborations. Immense, massive industry collaborations are happening. We talk to people from the industry and we get to know what is happening over there in their factories. So because I did offsite construction, their factories or construction sites, things like that. And then we try to find solutions from our research. So going back to the industry, if I got a chance, definitely I might have gone. But this came first. So I'm here as an academic. That's what happened. Thank you.
I just want to share a bit of my opinions on this issue because I stay in academic and haven't got any experience in the industry. But at least from my experience, that because I conduct the interview for my studies, and from my experience, the first frontier questions are always from the industry. Also, the solutions come from the industry because they have to give a solution when they face any issues. Might not be the best solution. So that's where I figured out that how the academic can be helpful for the industry, because in a very limited time, they have to give a solution. And normally the solution is good enough. Otherwise, they won't be able to survive in the very competitive environment. But then they normally come to the academic and then say that this is the issues they have in the practice, and then this is the solutions they have been provided when they face this issue. But they know that it's definitely not the best solution, and they come to the academic and then see how to improve it. That's how I see how the academic can be helpful. But yes, back to professor's opinion, that I always feel the connections with industry and academic is really important, because it will guarantee that all the research will be helpful and helping for the practice in the future. I'm an early career researcher, and with myself developing my research interest, I also discover my personal interest for my career in the future. Because my research interest is about contractual governance and relational governance, and also the dispute resolution after the contract breach. That I gradually figured out I'm really interested in law, and might really be interested in becoming an arbitrator in the future. So I don't know, because I have been devoted into this area for such a long time. Master, PhD, then it's all of a sudden that I discover my personal interest in another, not completely different area, but somehow different. And I figured out that might be take me another very long time journey to, if I want to really devote it to the other one. That's my first question. The second one is really not easy to apply for the first initial funding as an early career researcher, especially my research topic is quite niche in this area, because most of the researchers in this area are focusing on digital twin, BIM, and my area is more like old-fashioned topic. So yeah, these are the two problems as I have at the moment. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting how your career evolves and the different things you get yourself into, and really a PhD really gives you a lot of different skills in terms of critical thinking, problem solving, and those types of things that are very valuable, not only within the academic sphere, but in industry and in solving very practical everyday problems.
Thanks. I might just follow on from that, because I think I blend a few of those stories together, actually. And my experience is coming from industry into academia, but post-PhD. So I did my PhD while I was in industry, and not in the built environment, but in manufacturing. And then found myself being made redundant because of a downturn in the industry with a PhD. But in an area that has very little relevance outside of that particular industry. But as you just said, I had some great supervisors who encouraged me that a PhD is about the journey, and it's about the skills and the lessons that you learn through that process. And so I was able to sit down and go, well, what are the things that I'm actually passionate about, and reevaluate what interests I had and what areas I wanted to get into, and found a research group at the university near where I lived that matched all of that perfectly. But the process of breaking into academia from industry was not smooth at all. It's taken me about 5 years, and I'm on my current longest contract, which is 12 months, that I've been on in that 5 years. Most of them have been much shorter, and most of them have been part-time, but as personal choice to balance family commitments. But the biggest challenge has been, because I didn't have publications from my PhD even, I had one or two, but being in industry, a lot of the work we did was proprietary, and I wasn't able to publish because, to get anything published had to jump through quite a few hoops and get approvals from quite a few levels of the company, and some of it wasn't publishable at all. So that posed a real challenge. And coming into academia, I had a lot of people who just said, no, we won't consider you for anything because you don't have the publication history. And you're not suitable for any of these scholarships or any of these postdoctoral fellowships. So I managed to get through on short-term research contracts. When projects came up, I just put my hand up and said, I'll do that work, and tried out a few different things until I found some things that I was more interested in and have started to build up some kind of longer-term projects. But it's still a challenge getting on grant applications because if you don't have a long-term contract, you can't often get named on grant applications. So I've helped out writing grant applications and not being named on them and had a lot of those issues as well. But I think it's improving and getting better, I hope.
I think it's a very important point how people from industry can break into academia if they want to. We are saying our mainly construction from that side, it's a more practically oriented discipline. Although it is practically oriented discipline, we have people doing PhDs straight after their first degree without zero experience, basically in construction, and probably haven't even gone to a construction site, and you do a PhD and then start teaching in construction management or construction programs, and they face the difficulty of convincing, and 99% of the undergraduate students are going to go back into industry, or they, in Australian context specifically, they are already working in the industry and doing their degree, and it is damn difficult to convince them that you are somebody they should be listening to. So that's something that a big uphill task that we'll have, which people like Brenda and wouldn't have that issue because you can relate to the industry and bring back that industry flavor back into academia, which is something that, in my case, I was fortunate enough to do that in industry, practice in industry. So I often bring those things back into my lectures, but a lot of younger generation doesn't have that opportunity to do it. Not to blame anybody, basically, but that's how it is panning out. But the sad thing about is universities are not making any effort to address this. So that's an issue. However, having said that, I want to distinguish architecture separately in this sense. Architecture is more recognized as more practically oriented, and there are some practice positions in universities. Most universities have those things. So that's something different, I think, which will, if a construction also, if we can learn from that and bring that type of opportunities in, a pathway for people to come in would be a great opportunity.
I mean, it's a very interesting conversation. And just to remind everybody that we have a new CIB Early Career Researcher Award, as you all are aware. The Hampson Award, which is specifically for ECRs engaging with industry. So just please remember that and look for that call that's going to come out in a few weeks. Just the other observation, it's interesting to hear about the selection process for PhD students. I think in the States, it's, at least from my experience, it's a little bit different. It's interesting that we're selecting people into a research training program, but we expect them to already have published research. That seems, if they already have published research, why do they need the PhD program? I guess maybe I'm being somewhat sarcastic, but somewhat not. Other comments from our group, or are there other things, Chico and Ellen, you want to plant? Are there some other ideas you'd like to plant with our group?
Yes, yeah, a really interesting discussion. Just maybe moving a little bit forward from the industry conversation to kind of bits that have been mentioned. I think it was, Jessica who mentioned it about kind of this uncertainty in the either the PhD world and the post-PhD world, in terms of short contracts of research assistant, research associates, research fellows, and navigating that bit. I know we have a couple of people, a bit more than that, of those who have progressed from sort of PhD or just finished a PhD. And yeah, just wanted to hear from people's experience really about that space of navigating kind of short-term contracts, often the uncertainty, time invested. I know for myself, I worked in a lot of, I was fortunate to be in a really good team, and we worked in many different industry partnerships with research grants for the Royal Academy of Architecture, Royal Academy of Engineering and RIBA. But a lot of those were 3 months, were 6-month contracts, were sometimes even 2-week contracts, just because of the way that they were set up. And there just was not any, I just didn't have any ability to actually forecast anything. I couldn't save, managing sort of a family. And so, and also this kind of pressure to go into lecturing, because lecturing was a much more secure role, but actually it's not really what I want to do. And pushing forward teaching, knowing full well that the university doesn't really provide, the university at the moment, the environment here in the UK is such that you teach and there's very little time for research. So yeah, I just wanted to maybe give the floor to anybody that has these experiences of short-term contracts, the uncertainty of that, or really time invested into projects, developing calls, and knowing that actually you are not even going to be able to be a part of that project.
Any thoughts from our group?
I think that uncertainty is more common than I think we would like it to be, for sure. I think there's a lot of uncertainty out there, particularly as you transition into the postdoc world. If you don't find a full-time position in a university right away, and I think that is a harder transition if you have been in industry, if you have fewer publications. I definitely think that's, for a traditional university. There are definitely universities out there that are more teaching-oriented universities that don't require that same level of scholarship, but they also are more limited in that sense too.
I was just going to share that, look, I've got a contract that ends tomorrow, and coincidentally on the 30th of June, I don't have another contract. I've worked on 6-month contracts and 12-month contracts and 3-year contracts, but I've done that for 22 years, and that's sort of the nature of the market that we're in. If you're proving your worth and if you're proving that you can bring in funding, then often that's a way to go forward. So can I just share with you one way of that I have experienced in progressing through the ranks, and that is to deal, and I think Brenda's in tonight, you don't underestimate the value that you bring as a non-academic academic, because you're able to talk and understand and really understand human behavior a little better, I suspect, and business practices a lot better, and bring in industry support a hell of a lot better. And so the ability to bring in funding, so on one hand, the Australian government rewards publication. I'm just talking from an Australian perspective, and it's a, it's a global sort of slant, that publications are recognised. There's no question about that. But so is funding, and so is reputation, and so is impact. And in this country, we'll start recording impact impact from university courses, impact from programs. And so if your pure, let's call it a purebred academic, is making no impact, you may get publication kudos, but you'll be way down on the research impact kudos. So leverage off that. And the specific example that I was going to share with you is that I was hampered, let's put it like that, frustrated is another word, at the lack of progression, say, from senior lecturer to associate professor. It's a big step. Publications weren't there because I was doing industry work. So I said to one of my industry partners, why don't you sponsor an associate professor in construction innovation? And then you will get 1 day a week from me. And so they said, well, how much will that cost? Well, the margin, the margin in salary for the university, let's say it was $60,000, right? Let's say, with on costs. And, and then you say, well, okay, will you make a commitment to the university for $100,000 a year for 3 years, on the understanding that you can use me as a resource for 1 day a week. And they adopted that. So what I'm highlighting is, look, just be a bit entrepreneurial. And universities run on, I mean, I'm being crass here, but universities run on money. No surprise. But you'll need to bring in money to help your career. Money comes in various sources. It comes from publications and the reputation against other peers in block grants, and it comes from industry income leveraged into block grants. It comes from benefactors leveraged into academic salaries. So think about how can you help your unit. It might be the Centre for Infrastructure Engineering. It doesn't survive by way of fresh air. It survives by way of an allocation of funding, which is about industry engagement, publications, reputation, students. How can you position yourself to be an income earner in that sense? Universities won't promote you for $60,000 a year if you bring in another 20, but if you bring in 100, and you justify that you can actually provide the value to the industry partner, and it's an ongoing funding stream. If you think about what's your little business in your machinery of the school or the faculty or the university, and how can you provide that financial incentive for progression, and then longer term contracts. Once you've got an industry partner committing to 3 years, then the university will commit to 3 years. You know what I'm getting at? So think about your business in academia. You're not just a piece of minute machinery in a railway workshop. Old traditional analogy. You can control your own intellectual horsepower, and you should. I mean, you're an entity in a business sense in building up resources in a university, and you can create that. So I've always seen my role, I came from 13 years in industry and then joined university and was then, frustrated in the lack of progression. And I went down in salary for I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and probably am still down in salary compared to what, could have earned outside. But I have a wonderful lifestyle. And I can be here at a conference having fun and drinking good coffee and enjoying the sunshine of Melbourne, but not. But it's good fun. And I know that if I was in an executive role in industry, someone would be saying, what are you doing at 3:30? Actually, I'm sitting here at 4:30. But it's okay. It's good. So the balance is good. But what I'm really saying, I guess, is create your own future and create your own destiny in an academic sense, because heads of school have to balance budgets. Universities at the macro level have to balance budgets. You've got to produce and deliver and connect and use your enterprise, but still think about how you can create the salary envelope for your position and then go forward. And if I can just add one other thing to that, I know I'm going on a bit. What is the most frustrating thing in a university, looking at bureaucracy. Universities are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful at creating bureaucracy. And if you break through that, then they'll create another layer to slow you down. I mean, you try and travel. That's what I was looking. Try and travel. And how many forms do you have to fill out in triplicate? And how many of them fall over, when you've got them 90% complete? And what about hire someone to do that? Get your $100,000, get your $60,000 covered in your salary, hire a secretary for 2 days a week, 1 day a week. Get someone to shield you from the bureaucracy. I'm not talking about obviously at a lecturer level, but when you're trying to make the transition from like associate professor to professor, hire an admin person. Get another $20,000 a year for an admin person for 1 day a week. And she, he, them, her, they, whatever they want to be called, can do your admin, because you're not going to be a good researcher if you're bogged down filling out travel requisitions. You're not going to be a good researcher. You can't produce industry reports if you're filling out, reports on how to fill out a form. It's just nonsense, So get someone to do that for you and focus where you can really add value. Okay, so that's my message. There is sort of, stand up and be creative about how you can create the value around the entity that you want to be in creating value for industry. And this is not to knock people who are making good journal publications and not interfacing, with industry. But I think, as Srinath has highlighted, our industry is highly, highly practical and expecting genuine productivity or business returns, and that's not unreasonable. Okay, so if you're working in this part of the industry and you want to be a researcher in this part of the industry, like your connectivity to business outcomes is like direct, not in 100 years' time, but perhaps in the next 5 and 10 years at least, or earlier. But create that sense of where you can genuinely add value. That's my inspirational urging of you. Yeah.
I think that's great advice for folks at any level.
If we wanted to be administrators, we would have gone down that path.
No, it's really good advice, and I'll seriously think about how can we do that. Because I had to take flight for travel. We had to do it like 5 times to get approval. It goes through 5 times or 6 times in the system, approving. It's a nightmare to get it done. And then after that, we had to settle the bills now. That's another nightmare for that. But I'd like to take the conversation onto another side on work-life balance, actually, because yesterday we had a panel discussion about employability for early career researchers and students. One question from the audience was about how do we manage stress and the pressure that is coming out of PhD and other things that the PhD students and early career researchers have to do it. Now, PhD students most of the time have to manage the PhD and maybe a few other things. And if you have family, then a little bit of family. But early career researchers, then they are in the real phase of it, because you have to manage family pressures, social life, plus the teaching, research, and as well as generating income and so on and so forth. So it's a massive task to balance all of that and have a life in the end of that process. And since I like everybody to say something about it, so can I ask everyone here to say a little bit of what do you think? Doesn't matter even if it is related. Say something about what you think about this whole thing that we are talking about, or focus on work-life balance. start with Tilly?
So work-life balance is something that, yeah, that's tough as a PhD student, where we are mostly focusing on our research, but then I personally take out at least 1 hour every 2 days to work out, exercise, just go for a swim and get my stress levels down. So I think that is something that is very important for all of us to think about. Try to have some me time and not really burn out before the end of whatever stage we are in. So I would like to know how other people also manage their work or their work and life balance, or whether there is or whether I'm spending too much time not working rather than balancing. But yeah, so it's tough, but it's interesting. Wei Fang wanted to say something, I believe.
I would like to share several things I want to say. First thing is I'm at the stage of the third year of my PhD research, and I think this is really for this time period I lose any contact with the people around me. I just want to focus because I think the any kind of social will affect the research. This is the one thing, but I have to find a way to balance the balance the life. The thing is, I turned out to the physical exercises and self-talking. Sometimes I talk to myself to just like the constant of myself. This is the thing. And another thing is for the research. Firstly, my research topic is about safety in design. It's about construction sector safety. And at the fourth time period of my research, I just focus on the literature, and then the next stage, and one of my supervisors suggested me to step out of the to leave the computer and step into the industry, talk to the professionals, and to find the real pain of the industry and what really happens in the industry. And I have to say this. First, I focus on the visualization technology is more about technology based, but the suggestion of my co-supervisor at that time, I think it led me to a very bright way to what really happens, and talking to the industry peoples will like it has a very big vibration for the academic. What we've read in the literature, what happens in the industry, and I think for the interview study, it changed me at every aspect of life, and especially the career aspect. For the actually, after talk to the industry people, even I avoided the social contact with friends or any the life in the life, but I really positive with career building, possibly social contact, not social contact. I really want to apply a position from the industry, no matter what kind of roles it could be. It could be the site supervisor or the site engineer. I really want to know what they really think, everyone really thinking, what really happens. But I never, I think I've sent more than 100 application, but I didn't, I only received one reply. And after the interview, they think, okay, I'm more academic focused because that is an interview for the industry to interview me whether I'm qualified with a job. But after the interview, I think I am an interviewee to interview them, interviewer to interview them about how they think about the academic. And I think that my behavior made them think, okay, you're not come here for the job. So I lost the only chance I could be step into the industry. But I'm really keen to. I want to combine. Because this is my research. Thank you.
Thanks, Wei Feng. I just ask for help, I think, so far. I'm still fresh, so I'm still yet to get to the... so far, I'm just asking for help whenever I can. Thank you.
So I think as probably a very, very fresh research fellow, I think work-life balance is definitely what the earlier career research lacked the most. I think what I could think of the way to cope some of that is to plan kind of earlier. Because as far as I noticed when I apply for some of the probably the lectureship, they really looking for different criteria. They're looking for whether you got the publication, whether you have the teaching experience, whether also you have the industrial chartership for some of the institution. And for some of that, I think probably like the industrial chartership, I kind of regret that I haven't done that kind of chartership due to back to the days when I'm still a PhD, when I still got more time, when the time is I would say flexible, but yeah. So I think this is what I think back the time. If there's something else I can do, yeah, this is definitely one thing I would do. And I think probably a plan would definitely help because there's always more things you can do. You can always publish more paper. You can always try to teach more lessons and to devote more into your build up process of your profile. But I think probably set up a plan will be a step I will be taking. Probably I will expect probably in 1 year's time, what I am to do, probably within the 1 year. Is that two journal papers my target, or yeah? And after I finish my target, do get some. I think I will get some probably travel or say spend more time with my family. So yeah, so I'm not sure whether helps, but this is probably my draft plan.
Whenever it comes to this topic, I feel embarrassing to share my experience because as a Chinese student in high school, we went to classroom every day at 7 a.m. in the morning and finished the whole day at around 10 p.m. So literally, we don't have any life there. And when I was doing my PhD back in China, and it's the same for me as well. The difference is only that back in high school, it's 5 days per week. For me, the PhD is 7 days per week. So speaking of the work-life balance, I come from a exactly opposite direction, and that is a huge surprise for me when I came to UK for the exchange program. I realized that life can be lived in completely another way, and work and study is not all in life. So I'm a big badminton fan player. I used to even feel guilty if I play badminton when I was doing my PhD. So I try everything to stop myself from working and study, and let myself realize that there are more things in my life, and then also realize that working whole day is actually another way to escaping from life. So I think self-discovery, self-development is not only for the PhD or not only for the early career researcher, it's for everyone, individual, as a person, as a human being. That's my journey. Might be very different from everyone else, but would like to, interesting to share.
Hello, everyone. My work-life balance. I would like to share some of my thought about this, regarding this matter. As Selene and sorry, what's your name again? Yeah. What's your name again? Scott. Yeah. So we are PhD student, and first when I first start my PhD, I thought that I would devote my whole 7 days a week to do PhD and things like that. And then now at the third year, nearly final stage, I thought no, I couldn't do like that anymore. And I start to find some of the interest. I have not have children or family, so still single life, still have more time. So I really admire how PhD student that you can have children and manage family at the same time. But for me, for me, a single life, I try to go to the gym at least three times per week, and I try to combine to not having only 1 day off per week, but to combine the busy life. For example, I'm not giving myself a whole day off. I just maybe Saturday and Sunday, I will combine doing both studying, do some tutor preparation, and doing something else like go swimming or do some artwork like painting or something like that. It's just like 1 hour, 2 hour, but I try to combine within the schedule. So I still feel like, oh, today I done something. I done some study, but I also give myself some time to relax and to create something that for my own. For example, if you paint something or if you do some artwork, you create something and it's feel rewarding, and it's feel like, yeah, we've done something today. And yeah, so that I try to do it every week, as much as I can, so I can balance. And especially in the I'm not sure in this world, it's very competitive, so we all feel like we have not done enough. So yeah, so at least we done something, even you create something new, something very creative, and you feel, oh, we create something for ourselves, and we feel very rewarding, and we have some motivation to do some more study and more work. Yeah, so that how I manage my stress. And also I'm doing some meditation. So maybe 5 minutes before bedtime, 5 minutes, sit, relax, and talk to myself that I feel calm, I feel relaxed. I've done enough today. Yeah, so and maybe reading some psychological book, something like that, to help you to improve the strong mental. So you have so that will help to motivate us myself and to better doing study. Thank you. I can handle.
First of all, actually, I am not a good model for everyone because I regard research as part of my life. So my brain never stop, keep thinking good idea, new idea. So when I was a PhD student, I just keep working hard on my research. I spend most of the time on my space on research, just keep doing, finish my PhD within 3 years, keep publishing papers. This is my aim. This is my life. my supervisor told me that doing research is not just, it's not a work, it's not a job. You cannot say start at 9 a.m., stop at 5. No, research is not like this. He told me that research is a lifelong learning. You need to think about your idea, think about research wherever you are. You need to think about it. I don't think there would be a life balance, honestly, but for me, I treat research as my life, my interest. I'm very happy, enjoy to do it. Unfortunately, when I was a PhD student, I'm still a bachelor. I don't have family, don't have kids. So this is one of the good things to myself, that I can fully devote to my research study. But when I have a kid, when I have family, I feel that work-life balance is very important. But when you are going from lecturer, senior lecturer, associate professor, you have a lot of things on your shoulder. You need to get research fund. You need to engage with the industry. There's a lot of work to do. So I feel that that is a very big challenge for me to have a lifelong work-life balance. Now I'm very happy to play with my kids, to have family time, try to shut down the computer, switch off my phone, Apple Watch, No one can find me with 1 or 2 hours. I think that would be great to spend time with family. Yes, but my wife also always complain about me, say, did you listen to me? Because my brain keep thinking about research. How can I generate research money, something like that. I think some of the gentlemen, we have that idea, experience that your wife may complain about you. During the weekend, my wife also give me some so-called instruction to ask me to buy something, but I always forget it. Because when I see something special, I will think about how can I link this to my research, There's a lot of things that I need to think about it. But anyway, my model is not good, but good to share with you guys that if you can regard research as your interest, then you can achieve more. I will be a professor next year because I got an offer from in Australia, and I will come to Australia. I'm now in New Zealand, so next year I will come to Australia to be a professor. So, corn has two sides. We only have 24 hours. Make sure that you enjoy your life. Don't regret, what you have done. I regard research as my interest, so I feel very happy to keep working hard to achieve excellence in my research. But I do think that family is still important, very important to me. So honestly, I'm still learning how to strike a balance between work and work and life, But I'm very happy to learn from everyone today. Anyway.
How can I follow? Yeah, I don't feel like work-life balance is always hard, and I always like to say I blank them together. Actually, everyone's want to focus on their work, and very important. I follow Kenny's ways. You really to love the way you work. Like, I think a lot of conversation previously talking about publications, industry-related focus, research, another thing as well. I was thinking about, do you really enjoy publications? If you're not, you don't have to publish. There are a lot of things to do in your life. Doing a PhD is not necessary to publish as well, remember that. Although there are some other criteria that may relate it, but you don't have to. There's a lot of way to do it because we're looking into research impacts a lot at the moment. You may want to bring that to impacts rather than the publications, because that is also a new way of recognition at the moment. And for myself, I actually blank work and family a lot together, because like I let them understand how I work, and then also bring the family to understand what I'm doing and understand what they are doing. That's how I blank them together as well. I do work long hours, but I do have the time to rest when you feel like you need to rest. The easiest way for me, because I'm a mom of two, they are They are both in the primary at the moment. One is in high school now. They every 10 weeks they have 2 weeks term break. I think most of the moms know it. I always take that 2 weeks off because otherwise my kids will be staying home listening to my meetings all the time online. And what I'm doing is I take 2 weeks off. I'll have no meetings and I just take them around. And that means every 10 weeks I actually have 2 weeks break. Although I may still responding emails when I want to, because there's not that long time to really sort those out. Like you may take an hour or two, right, and 10 hours a day or more than that, depends on how you want to work with it. But I do take those breaks. But I do work long hours when I need to, but I do have those breaks. I think it's really important as well. And also remember that you need to love what you want to do. If you don't love, you need to find a way to do it. And you also need to have a very good peers to talk to, because particularly with this COVID, a lot of people know that lockdown, you may not be able to talk to anyone until you go crazy. That is too late. You need to have a peers and you need to have a good mentor. It may not be your supervisors. It could be someone that you feel trust, to be honest. And I feel like those are really important, because I'm still talking to my previous supervisors, because they call me as friends now. They're not really calling me as students or past students or something. We share lives together. And I feel like you need to find your peers, like comfortable peers, and also comfortable mentors as well. And to just share life with you, share the communication with you. And as a woman, I think a lot of people also like to ask me about there's a lot of female in here, which is quite good. A lot of people like to ask me how I balance my family. Of course, we all love to develop our career. We work hard for our career as well. And I have to say, for the men in here, you do need to understand our role. And I always like to share that you need to have a good husband to support you. For the men to hear that as well. Yeah, not only about for the female. Yeah, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm Senuri from Monash. So I just started my PhD like 2 months ago. So everyone's opinions on this work-life balance is very much important for me in my future. So up to now, so I know that work-life balance is very much important in future for me. But up to now, I will say my story. Initially, so while I'm doing my MSc, so I was used to like I'm single and I didn't have much responsibility in my family. So my parents were there with me. So I was used to work like I was doing my PhD in weekends as well, and sometimes I'm discussing those things with my supervisor, like I'm fully devoted to my MSc. But at that time, what my supervisor advised, she advised me, so don't do that. So you should have a proper work-life balance. So what she said was, you should have a proper plan. You should manage your time properly too. So you should keep your time slots for your family and your other stuff as well. And thereafter you can manage your work and life, because at that time I did not have that much idea about this work-life balance and everything. So that was my first experience, and thereafter, so I knew that that's the correct thing. So we should have like manage the time, like have a proper plan for our works likewise. So and when it comes to when it comes to my PhD, so I came here 2 months ago. So it is really difficult to me for like getting used to this environment. This is totally new to me. But the thing is that I'm single, but I'm lucky to have good friends around me. The community is really good, and I had my seniors with me, so they helped me to like get used to this environment. So yeah, up to now, so I could I could manage my work. Work stuff means my things well, and I could manage my social life as well, because I have a good community. And thereafter, they are helping me with my academics and academic works. And actually, and up to now, I have a good experience, but I don't know about the future. But I aim to have your advisors, and I think I can do a proper work-life balance in future. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Savindi. I'm from University of Melbourne. Okay, so when I first started my PhD, I used to work 7 days per week, and I was fully focused on my research. I thought it was everything. But then my supervisor, she used to sometimes ask me, what did you do on the weekend? Where did you go? And I was like, no, I was working on my research. And then she told me that's not the life you should live on. So I actually took her advice, and then I decided to have tasks per each day, and then therefore, like once I complete small tasks, I felt a sense of achievement, and also that made me go to the gym and go for a swim or for a run. So that sense of achievement made me allocate time for myself, because I feel like, okay, I've done something in terms of my research, so maybe it's okay to have a little bit of time on myself. So that actually worked quite well for me, because I realized that when I was spending a little bit of time on myself, I sort of came across new ideas as well. Because when I'm so focused on my research, there were certain times that I struggled with because I didn't get any new ideas because I was so concentrated on it. But when I started not completely forgetting about my research, but when I started focusing on something else, suddenly new ideas jumped. So so that was a good advice for me, and that's how I sort of balance my work and life. Thank you.
We're almost to the end of our time, and we've made it through 2 topics as opposed to, I think we had 8 originally that were possible topics. This has been a great discussion. I think one of the things that I would like to hear out of this is, how would you like to proceed? How would you like to be supported?
Well,
what
I
can
think we.
CIB do for you?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? And so sorry that we didn't get everyone in the room. I don't know if there's just, but maybe we do this some more in the future online. Have some more kind of open discussions and listening sessions. There's 2 more folks who didn't get to go. I don't know if maybe you'd like to go in a minute or so.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, we'll just take another 2 minutes if that's okay.
Yeah, I just want to say that it's a very big challenge for me as well as an early career researcher. What happened was just after my PhD, I got an opportunity as a lecturer, and then I got a lot of teaching. So therefore, it was so challenging to do research at the same time. So some people were getting short-term contracts, working as a research fellow, but I feel like it's better than you can publish and build up your profile. So I feel like when you become a lecturer at the same time after a PhD, it is challenging as well. That's because to build up your profile, do the publication, you don't have much time because you have to focus on teaching as well. It was new to you as well. During the PhD, we are not getting that much opportunity for teaching. So then, and also I have 2 sons as well. As a mom of 2, it was a big challenge. So it's a real struggle for me at this stage. As a mom of 2, got a lecturer position at the same time after the PhD. So I'm finding very difficult to publish and finding grants at this stage. So yeah, that is one of the that is one of the things that I want to do research. That is one of my aim as well, but it's a big challenge. So I can't tell that it is not a challenge. It's a very big challenge and it's a struggle.
I think one more.
I'll just share quickly. I think one thing, doing a PhD in industry meant that because I was working in an office, I worked the same hours as everyone in the office. So I was there at 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock when everyone went home. And I'm sure there were times when I did stuff in the evenings, and especially towards the end, you can't avoid that. But keeping to those office hours, I think gave me a very different focus compared to a lot of other students when they're doing a PhD. And I think I've kind of carried that through into research. Having said that, now as a researcher with kids in primary school, I'm very flexible in my work hours. And I think I've managed the balance just by having flexible hours and negotiating that. And everyone I've worked with has been quite understanding about that. So I don't work full time, but I work across 5 days. So I'll mostly be available every day, but I just won't be available in the afternoons, or I'll work extra days some weeks to take the time off in the school holidays. And I've actually found research has been a very flexible environment for that. Whereas, and that was one of my reasons for going into it after having kids, whereas in the industry, it's not as flexible to have those sorts of opportunities and to take 3 hours off a day, or to only work for 6 hours instead of 8 hours a day.
And Budini, did you have an opportunity? And we want to get our technicians home at 5.
Yeah, I'll quickly summarize. While doing the PhD, it was 24/7, I can say, definitely. And if I took a free time, I was so guilty for spending time on me time. But now, once I got the job, and now I'm kind of relaxing. Now I spend my weekends trying to do nothing. Apparently trying to do nothing. So far, 6 months, 5 months into the job, I have managed to do that. So I hope I can keep it up the rest of the career. Let's hope for good.
Thank you. So Ellen, Chico, yeah, I know we're coming up. Do you have a couple final thoughts for us, or I think we do this again. I don't know. For me, it was therapeutic actually. Here, I didn't get to tell my story, but wow, yeah. I'm reflecting on life.
Personally, I appreciate everyone's comments. I think that the honesty that you shared is refreshing, and I think it helps everyone in the room. So I definitely think we should continue the conversation. Chico?
Yes, sorry, the audio hasn't been great for us, and we haven't been able to see you for some time, but I think we heard most of that, and we just want to say thank you to everybody for attending the session. There's just some incredible creativity and insights into your journeys, and hopefully this is the start of multiple sessions where we can start to look at solutions to some of the areas that we talked about and ways that we can support each other.
Yeah, I think that's important to have those support systems to have, and it's a global. It's not just in your own little world in your own university. These things are global here. How people are thinking around the world, it's helpful. It helps people reflect, and then CIB can help you provide that platform. We'd love to do this more, and again, and on different topics and on varied topics, so this has been helpful. Please send me an email. Let me know what you think, what you want to see in the future, and we'll make it happen. And thank you to our technicians for helping us today. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Yeah, it's been really great. Have fun tonight, everybody.
Thank you. Okay.
Thanks so much, Nick. Thank you. We'll maybe I'll follow up with you tomorrow.